Hello, I am Heather Walpole and I am the owner of UU Yarns, and today I want to share with you the Blustery Beanie. It's a super cute, really fast beanie to knit, and it has a really wide brim that tapers to the back of the neck. And it is knit using UU Yarns Baba Bulky. Here you can see it here in the color vanilla. So the hat has 2 strands knit all throughout, and I want to show you how to make it. So come along and I'll show you all the supplies and what you need to knit this free pattern. So the Blustery Beanie is designed by me, and it's a super cute, fun, fast pattern. Here you can see the small size, child size. So when we look at the child size, you can see how it has that wide brim that tapers down to the back of the neck and then back up again. So the pattern is worked flat for this part, and then we join and we go in the round up here. So it's a lot of fun to make. We have 3 different sizes and they all use UU Yarns Baba Bulky, which is a washable merino wool. I'm going to show you how to knit one in this combination of the black licorice and vanilla, so it should look pretty cool. The one I'm wearing is using sky blue and aquamarine. Oh, they're right there next to each other. So there's tons of different color combinations you can put together, but come with me. We'll make this fast hat in no time. Let's talk about the supplies you're going to need to make the Blustery Beanie. Of course, the pattern being number 1. So this is a free download from UU Yarns, and it features all of our info, and we're going to go right through the specs list here: yarn, needles, supplies. So depending on what size you're making, every size in this pattern uses 2 skeins. If you make the medium size, I think you can also make the small size out of the same colors. So that is a fun little addition. And the things we'll need is, of course, UU Yarns Baba Bulky. So you can see these 2 are what I will be using. It is 100% merino wool yarn, and that means if it's UU, it is washable, so that is a lot of fun. And I am going for a higher contrast combo, but there are several great combos. This is the cotton candy mixed with the berry throughout. This green one is the pistachio held with the forest fern. Looks cool, kind of, I don't know, maybe a camouflage vibe. I don't know, just looks great, but you can see how squishy it is. So the color choices are endless. We have 22 colors of Baba Bulky. I thought this cool black and white combo would be fun. And then after that, you will need a set of size 15 10mm needles, and a short 16-inch circular needle is going to work great for this project. And then to finish off the top, you'll also need a set of double-pointed needles for the crown shaping up here where we decrease. So this pattern says that you can use a size 15, but the way I like to think about double points for hat decreases, I think if you have like 3 general sizes of double points, you can do pretty much anything. So for large needle knitting like this, like 15, 17, I have 1 pair of size 11 needles because you don't end up using them all that long. I knit all 3 of these hats using these size 11 double points for just those last couple of rows. So if you have something close, if you have 15s, that's great. If you have something close like this, an 11, I wouldn't go down to like anything, 8, 9. I think that's getting a little small, but if you have something around an 11, 8mm, I think that is great. And then we need a circle stitch marker, a ring stitch marker, because when we start going in the round up here, we need to know how many times we've gone around. And the other thing I like to do is have a clip-on stitch marker. And the reason I do that is because when we start with garter stitch, it looks the same on both sides, which can get confusing. So what I like to do is you can use a clip marker like this, you know, a locking clip marker, or I like these little loop ring markers. So you can just swap that right on, and then you know which side is your outside and which is your inside. So you know what you're doing on any given row. So I like to have one of those on hand. And then of course a pair of scissors at the end and a darning needle for finishing. So that is the supplies and everything. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment, or everything is linked down below. So here we are, we're ready to get started on our blustery beanie. I have my 2 skeins of yarn, which we will get to in a moment. Here are my needles, so we'll leave that with those. And here is the pattern. So you can see this is just a little info, just a little blurb about the pattern. Then on the first page inside, it shows the sizing and the measurements and the head measurements and things like that. How much yarn you need. Maybe you want a longer circular for that largest size. So once we have all of our supplies, which we did in the last section, we get started here with the beanie. And the way this works, we're going to start with the brim, it said, and that will be this. This is our cast on edge down here. So you can see the, you can see like here is my beginning slip knot. And so the yarn is held together and you can see all these are my cast on stitches down here. So this beginning edge is sort of the shortest at the hat, and then it increases as we work back and forth up to the nape of the neck, and then we'll go in the round and work up toward the crown. So, but first is to begin, and we will start here at the brim. So, oh, there goes a double point. Put that back. So it says here with size 16-inch circular needles and colors A and B held together. That's why the hat has a little bit of a marl effect. Loosely cast on, and I'm making the second size. So I will be casting on 24 stitches using the long tail cast on method. Do not join to work in the round. So let's get cast on. Okay, well, we got there. All right, so now you can see I have colors A and B held together, and I need to cast on 24 stitches. So let's come back a bit, make our slip knot. And get started with our stitches. And it said to use the long tail cast on, so I will. It is my preferred cast on. Okay, so now we have our 24 stitches. And now be careful when you're counting them that you know you have, you know, one of each color. So, okay, I have the 24. All right, and now we can move on to row 1. And you'll notice in this pattern we talk about rows in this part that is worked flat, and then we start talking about rounds when we join in the round to make the top of the hat. So row 1, KFB, which is knit in the front and the back, knit to the last 2 stitches, knit in the front and the back, knit 1, and then it says we've increased 2 stitches. So we'll just work right through that. It's fun. So when we knit in the front and the back, it kind of makes it a purl bump on that second stitch. You can see one's down and then one kind of has a turtleneck. So that is why I like to do it in the first stitch on a row. And then I also like to do it in the second to last stitch on a row. So that's why it says work to the last 2 stitches, which is what we will do here. And it's okay if your yarn twists over, because that is what's going to give us that cool kind of marled, mottled color effect throughout this project. All right, here we are coming up. I have 2 stitches. I'm going to knit in the front and into the back of that stitch and knit the last stitch. And there we go. So now we should have 26 stitches on our needle if you're making that second size along with me. Then our instructions say repeat row 1, working back and forth on right side and wrong side until there are 46 stitches on the needle. So we're just going to go back again. So we knit that first stitch, knit into the front and the back of it, and then knit right across your row again. And now as I get to the end of this row, I am going to do my increase in the second to last stitch. So knit until there's 2 stitches left on the needle, knit in the front and the back, and knit 1. So we'll know what's the right side and the wrong side before we join in the round because of our stitch counts. So like I said, we're going to work this until there are 46 stitches on the needle. And then if we read a little bit ahead, it says next row that will increase, we won't turn, and we'll have 48 stitches on the needle. So let's make our brim, and then we'll come back and finish up this section. Okay, so I am just finishing up my 46 stitch row. So you can see there, I have all these garter ridges now, and that tapered side gets bigger in both directions. Now, anyway, okay, so I just finished the end of this instruction until there are 46 stitches on the needle. Next row, which means we are going to flip our work again. Now it says next row, knit into the front and the back to the last 2 stitches, knit front and back, knit 1. Do not turn work. So let's get that done. Okay, now we're just coming up to our last 2 stitches. We knit in the front and the back, just like we've done on every other row. And now the only difference here is, as the instructions say, do not turn work. Place marker and join for working in the round, being careful not to twist brim stitches. So 48 stitches on the needle. Okay, so here we have our brim, and we want to make sure all the knitting is, you know, below the needle. You don't want to have this flipped over like that or something like that, because then when you go to join this in the round, you're going to have a big big loop in your work. So you want to make sure it's nice and straight. We didn't turn our work. We're going to put a ring marker on the right hand needle, and then it says we're going to join for working in the round. So I will see you in the next section to work the body of the hat. Here we are. Now we're going to work the body of the hat. The last few rounds of this garter stitch section are actually worked in the round. So that is what joins across this part. So let's get it going. We're going to start this section, work body of hat, round 1, purl around. Now, it might seem daunting, but you only have to purl 2 rounds, then we're done. So we bring our yarn to the front. We try not to drop our stitches off the needle. There we go. So we bring our yarn to the front and purl. And I like to make sure that one's nice and snug. And then we just keep going and we purl right around until we hit that marker again. So the reason we end up working 2 rounds in purl is because so knitting every row flat in garter stitch is what gives you these ridges. But when you join in the round and you knit every row or round, you get that smooth stockinette stitch. So because we want to just deepen this garter stitch brim a little bit, we work basically 3 or 4 rounds in garter stitch in the round, which is knit around and purl around. So as we get here to the marker, we're going to slip the marker, and then we bring our yarn to the back, and now we're going to knit this round. There's no increase needed or anything like that. We're right here on round 2 in work the body of the hat. So round 2, knit around. All right, and then as we get around here, we've knit, and then we're going to slip our marker, move our yarn forward, and purl for round 3 right here. Round 3, purl around. As we get to the end of this round, you can really see how we've added another few layers, and see they're all connected here at the back of the hat with no real extra effort. And now we're going to follow round 4, knit around, and then we'll repeat round 4 just knitting. So until the hat measures 4.5 inches from our join. So I'll show you a little more of that in a minute. All right, so we're coming up on the end of round 4. And that means that we're gonna get to work the main section of the hat. So it was like we just added a bit to the brim. Now, here we come to the marker, and we just finished knitting a row, and we're going to keep knitting. So all we're going to do, slip the marker and carry on. So now we work just knitting round and around, no more purling, because that's what gives us this transition from these garter stitch rows to the smoother beanie section. And that's what we're going to work until our hat measures, let's see, 4.5 inches from the joint. And so this is where your hat can get a little, like if you want it a little bit shorter, this is the type of thing you can try it on when it's on your needles and just determine if you want to go a little bit shorter. So, you know, maybe you have a little bit of a shorter head distance, and you just want to go 4 inches. So this would be the section where you do that. But I'll be right back when we get to our 4.5 inches here. Okay, here you can see I've moved along, knit quite a few rounds, and you can see it's forming the body of the hat. So I thought I'd just stop and let's take a quick measurement. So we're going to go from where this join happens, and I'll put my 0 there and then measure up. And I just like lightly flatten it out behind the ruler. And then we want to measure to the stitch under the needle. You don't want to measure the stitch on the needle, because if we did that, look, we'd be up to, 3 3/4. But what we want to do is go from the bottom here, smooth it out. Don't stretch it, just smooth it out under your ruler. And then there we go. We are at 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Oh, 3 1/4. I moved my ruler. Yeah, or right around 3 inches, right there. Maybe if I move over, then you can actually see it. So yeah, we're right in there, around 3 1/8, not quite 3 1/4, but we want to come up here to 4 1/2 is what the suggested is. So we still have a few rounds to go, and then we'll come back and do the next section. A few more rounds. We have our right number of rounds. Well, like I said, the number isn't as critical as the measurement for you. So 4 1/2 is a good place to start. Then you can check it. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's make sure my stitches are on the needle. And let's take a measure here quick, if I can figure this out. Oh, no wonder I can't. Okay, so we'll go here and gently go up, get my needle out of the way. Okay, let's try again. Here we are. Come up, and there we are. 4 1/2. Maybe even a little, oh no. My ruler seems to move right at 4 1/2, right under my needle. So now again, your row height gauge might vary a little bit. The size of your head might vary a little bit, of course. So go for the height that works for you. You can totally, drop your marker. You can totally put this on your head at this point and kind of feel for how it sits around, this goes at the nape of your neck, and then this is over your eyebrows, or like right to your eyebrows, I mean. So I hope you're liking how your hat is coming out. Now, the next part, we are going to start decreasing. So I'll see you in the next video. Okay, we've hit our 4 1/2 inches, and now we are ready for decreasing. Oh, there goes my marker. Decreasing at the crown of the hat. And that will happen here. And just to be aware, each size has its own decrease instruction. So be sure you are following along for whichever size hat you are making. Child size, adult small, adult large. So I am making the adult small, and that means I will be following these. They're all relatively the same, and we're going to decrease to double points as we work through this. So you don't need to do it right away, but I'll show you as we go. So the first one says round 1, knit 4, knit 2 together, repeat from asterisk around, and we'll decrease 8 stitches. So we're going from that 48 number down to 40. Get my stitch marker back. And yeah, so we knit 4, 3, 4, and knit 2 together. Then we do that again. And the reason this works is because, let's see, this adds up to 6 stitches. So knit 4, knit 2 together is 6. So it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 become 1. So we repeat that, and it ends up repeating around 48 stitches. It repeats 8 times. So 6 times 8 equals 48. And that's how that works. Knit 2 together. And then as we come up on the last set, we should end with a knit 4, knit 2 together, and we're back to our marker. And now you should have whatever the stitch count is here. Mine is 40. If you're working on the smaller size, it's 32, and the larger size, you're at 48. Then our round 2 says knit around, so no decreases. We're just gonna zip right around here. All right, so I did my round 2. Now we're on to round 3. We knit 3, knit 2 together, and same principle here. We went to 40 stitches, 8 stitches, so this is a multiple of 5 stitches. 5 times 8 is 40, and because we repeat it that many times, we go down 8 stitches to 32. If that math made sense to you, I congratulate you for understanding how my brain works. All right, that finished our knit 2 together, or our knit 3, knit 2 together round. And then now we are on to round 4, knit around. And now this is when we start getting fewer and fewer stitches on the needle, and maybe it gets a little more snug. So if you're making the smaller size, you might want to have adjusted to the double points already. Round 4 is done, knit around, and I started to feel like that was getting a little too tight to work around. So I am going to transfer over to my double points while working this round 5 decrease. So this is going to be knit 2 together, and we're working our way to 24 stitches. So let's get our double points. Here we are. Now, I also like to remove my marker so it's not in my way. And because I know where the round is beginning because it's the last stitch on this needle. So I always kind of pull that needle through a little bit so I know this last stitch won't fall off. And then the other thing I like to do is I kind of like to work on 3. We like to work with 4 double points. So what I do then is I'm ending up with 24 stitches. So 24 divided by 3, as we all know, is 8. So that will work out perfectly. I will end up with 8 stitches on each of the 3 needles. So let's get that done. So it'll be knit two together. Okay, my pattern is bugging me. Move that out of the way. Okay. 7 and 8. And now, so that worked out to knit two together, knit two together, knit 2. Now I'm going to take a new needle, leave this one here, and now I'm going to knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together, now I can pull that original needle through a little bit. It kind of gets wild on this row. So then let's do knit 2, knit 2 together, and let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, and then I just knit 1 to get 8 on that needle. Knit 1, knit 2 together, 1, 2, knit 2 together, knit 2, and knit 2 together. Okay, there we go. We can take our circular needle and set that aside now. All right, now back to our pattern. All right, we just did round 5. We have 24 stitches. Round 6, knit 1, knit 2 together. So there's no, notice there's no extra knit around. This is really curving the top of the hat closed now. So knit 1, knit 2 together. Then we'll be down to 16 stitches. Okay, we need that 4th needle. And now we just work from an occupied needle over to a vacant needle. 1 and knit 2 together. Knit 1, knit 2 together. Knit 1. And now on a circumstance like this, sometimes I'll just take this, plop that stitch on the next needle, since I need to knit it together. Then we knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1. Final needle as we rotate around. Knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, and then we always end on the knit 2 together. So that's good. And if you would not, you know, since we don't have a stitch marker, you can just look down and you're right at your join. So that's how you know you're in the right place. And now we are on to our final round for this size. Round 7, knit 2 together around, 8 stitches remaining. So we just go right for it. Knit 2 together, knit 2 together. All the way right around. Zip that one through. Put this one over here. Knit 2 together. I love how the colors are coming together on the marl. So fun. Knitting a little tight. Knit 2 together. those up on there. Zip this one to the next side. There we go. Take our yarn. I know it looks like mayhem, but when you're doing it yourself, it isn't. And you can hear that constant knit one, knit two together, knit two together. You know, that's just how I think as it goes. Okay, there we go. That's our last stitch. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was our last stitch. We'll move that double point out of the way. And now here we go. We have 8 stitches at the crown of our hat. So fun, so fast. My gosh, it has been 2 hours knitting this while filming. That is amazing. Like to the minute. Okay, now the instructions tell us proceed to finishing. Finishing, break yarn leaving a 12-inch tail, thread darning needle, and sew yarn through remaining stitches. Pull tight to cinch closed. Secure, weave in yarn ends inside the hat. Gently wet block, allow to dry. Trim all yarn ends. Love. Okay, so it says leave a 12-inch tail, so we'll leave a nice little generous tail here. And then I like to keep those yarn ends together, and I thread my darning needle with them held together. There we are. And now we go right around. I start almost like I'm knitting. I go in the next stitch from the yarns coming out of this stitch. I go in the next stitch, and I just gently pluck them off the needles. Bring my yarn through. Just keep almost like I'm slipping the stitch to a different needle. Bring my yarn through, making sure they're all captured. You can see those live little stitches. And we just have these to go. Slip, slip, slip. Set that down. And now we have our live stitches in a little ring there, and we're just gonna bring them together. And look how cool that looks. All tied together. And then the next thing I like to do is actually come through right where my yarn is going, and I go around through them again because I really love that perfect little star pattern that they make. So I love how it looks on the top of a hat. So I come back through all those stitches once more. Whoops. Gotta be careful with those double strands of yarn. And then I really pull it tight. And then you have, oh, look how cute that star looks. Oh my gosh. And now I can just dive the yarn to the inside of the hat. So let's see. Okay, yeah, look. I love it. And then I'll just flip the yarn or the beanie inside out. And then I weave back and forth here and come through. And then sometimes I'll just do a little extra loop-de-loo that I wouldn't necessarily do this on a sweater because I think it would be visible. But on the crown of a hat, I like to go in and out, and I like to stay on this inner side. So we will trace along a couple of stitches here, just gently moving along. And come up through. My dog's making a lot of noise. Sorry about that. Don't know what she's doing. Okay, so that's good on that one. I'm just going to trim this a little bit, but I'll trim that shorter after I give it a little wet block. We can take this stitch marker off the front, and then we just have our ends to weave in here where we cast on. There's our beanie. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just do these last ones. I like to hold them together. I pinch it over the eye, keep it pinched, and then you can push it through together. Little trick from my mom. And then this we can weave right up the side here a little bit. I like to keep it like this is just going all the way up past your ear, so not like it's a visible thing that's happening. A little outside. Maybe I'll take this. Let's go to the inside of the hat. And then, yeah, with garter stitch, you can just loop along. There we go. Lost track of what I was doing. There we are. You can just go in and out these big garter loops. And it'll be great. And then we can undo our needle, straighten it out. With the marl and the two colors, it's so busy. You can't tell your ends are anywhere. So we'll give that another little trim. And there we go. We have a beanie. So yeah, you can see sort of after the hat is blocked, how much smoother, like if you look at all the highs and lows in the decrease section there, look how much softer this one has become over time. I wear this hat a lot. I really love it. So I'm gonna flip the camera and let's try this on. Here we are in the Blustery Beanie. I hope you had a good time knitting this hat. I still need to block mine, but I had to try it on and come say thank you for knitting this beanie with me. I hope you had a good time. I hope you love yours as much as I love mine. And maybe you'll even knit another one. Are you going to give yours as a gift? What are you doing? What do you want to make next? Let me know. And yeah, I hope you had a great time knitting this project and that you'll come back for more. So have a great day and yeah, happy knitting.